Well, hello, and welcome to another TV edition of Get Real. I'm Hot Toddy, and of course you know who this guy is. He needs no introduction. He's Jean-Luc Picard from the wonderful TV series Star Trek Picard.
An unmitigated disaster.
Oh, Tom Servo. That's who this is. Tom Servo from Mystery Science Theater 3000. Oh, well, that makes sense because I'm also wearing a Mystery Science Theater 3000 t-shirt. I also have some DVD volumes of Mystery Science Theater over there, as well as the official Mystery Science Theater Funkos and the posters behind me. So that can only mean one thing. I'm here to talk more about Mystery Science Theater 3000. And that's right. Season 13 to be exact. Of course, the soft launch period has officially ended for those of us who backed the campaign. But you're in luck if you are a fellow Misty, but you didn't have enough money to provide to the Kickstarter campaign, but you still want to check out all the new and fantastic episodes that are being offered on the all-new Gizmoplex. You can download said Gizmoplex this Friday, May 6th. It will officially be launched to the public, so you can download it and subscribe then. But for those of us who are backers, we have been in a soft launch period for the last couple of months, checking out the first 3 episodes of Mystery Science Theater for Season 13, as well as some other special live events. They just wrapped up Episode 3, and that's what we're going to talk about in this episode. It's Mystery Science Theater 3000, Season 13, Episode 3, Beyond Atlantis. And I think we can all agree, we should all just try and get beyond Atlantis. Please, let's. I just came up with that joke. I didn't hear it anywhere from anybody. I literally just came up with that. I take full credit for that joke. Oh, excuse me. Yes. What's that? Oh, they did that joke on the show. Oh, it was literally like one of the first ones they did in the theater. I see. So I can't. They'll sue the skin office. Got it. Right. No problem. All right, bye. About what I said a minute ago. So let's get right into it. This episode is the first entry in the Mystery Science Theater 3000 diaries, featuring the all-new cast member Emily Marsh as Emily Connor, the first female test subject in Mystery Science Theater history. And what I love about her is that she fits in so well. That seems to be the general gist online, is that she fits in with this crowd so well. She is super funny. She has the same timing. She knows exactly how to operate. As you can see, I went to one of the Time Bubble Tour shows. They came here to Knoxville, and I was skeptical because I'd never seen Emily perform. I hadn't seen her. I'm going to be honest. I don't watch a lot of the Turkey Day marathon stuff like that, and I missed out on the thing that they had last summer. But I always go to the live tour when they come to town, and I always check out the new episodes. And so I was concerned. I didn't know how this was going to work with her in this role, and then I went in there, and she was phenomenal. Now, I want to preface this, that it was not because she was a woman. I cannot stand people who think like that. I was just as skeptical as her as I was with Jonah the first time, because I didn't know their talents when it came to Mystery Science Theater. But then I went and saw, and my God, she blew me away with how funny she was. And she wasn't the only cast member from the tour to be on this episode. Doing the voice of Tom Servo, Connor McGiffin. Doing the voice of Gypsy, Yvonne Fries. And another new female in the cast, providing the voice of Crow in this episode, was a very funny lady by the name of Kelsey Ann Brady. I had never heard of her until this past Friday. And she blew me away just like everybody else. She is super, super funny. She was apparently the understudy on the tour for another guy. I can't remember his name. It's Neil something. But anyway, he had to step away for a while, and his understudy, Kelsey Ann Brady, stepped in and played Crow for him at some shows. And then she eventually even got a spot on the new season, and she is super funny as well. Now, there's been a little bit of a debate as to whether these are good moves or bad moves. Again, it's left up to interpretation. We all have our own thoughts about the new season, just like any show. I mean, at the beginning of the episode, I made the comment about Star Trek Picard. I am a huge Star Trek The Next Generation fan, but I cannot stand Star Trek Picard. It's not a great show. I've actually sat and watched it. It's not great. It's not a great series. It would be great if it didn't have the name Star Trek on it and didn't have Star Trek The Next Generation characters in it, okay? So that's the whole thing. But just like Star Trek, there are Misties that have their own opinions on the new Mystery Science. I was checking out some Facebook comments as well as the fan page, what's it called, the discourse. It's the thing that I'm a part of where the Mystery Science Theater fans talk to each other. It's a forum, if you will. And there were a lot of positive comments, but there were also some negative comments. And, you know, I get it. Nobody likes change. But there's times when change is good, and then there's times when change is bad. And what I mean by that is you decide to reboot a franchise with new people and not kind of stick to what made it fun. And you probably, some of you are going to come after me for this too, I'd say. There's some of you are going to say, no, you know, that was a great film. It was fine for what it was, but if you're trying to make a new one of this franchise, you kind of need to stick to what made it funny, and you need to stick to what made it, I guess, identifiable to nerds, and they didn't do that. They could have done it with this group of people. That's not the problem. It's just the script was awful. So they didn't take the time to really adjust that group into that world so that it could, you know, connect with people like us who were big fans of this franchise. Joel Hodgson is a genius. The man is a visionary because he took the time. He went out and found the right people at the right time to do this position, to handle this job, to anchor down this position, and he did it. He found not one, but 2 full casts for Mystery Science Theater 3000. Like, that's insane. But he did it because he takes the time. He knows artistry. He knows when somebody can fit this process and who can't fit this process. I mean, he's really never been wrong. He said, I'm going to stop doing my up-and-coming stand-up career, which got me onto Saturday Night Live and Late Night with David Letterman, and I'm going to go to Minneapolis and do this dinky TV show. He was right. Because then it got picked up for national distribution, ended up on Comedy Central. He was right. And then when he said, I'm going to leave, but I want this guy to be my replacement. Well, Joel, are you sure you don't want to audition anybody? Are you sure you don't want to try out other comedians? No. This guy's our head writer. He's funny. He can do it. He was right. Joel's never been wrong. If we do a Kickstarter in 2015, I bet the Misties will donate a bunch of money so that we can bring the show back onto Netflix. You're crazy, Joel Hodgson. Nobody's going to want to bring that show back. It's old.
Mystery Science Theater 3000.
He was right. We're going to do it again. Netflix canceled this. It doesn't matter. We're going to do another Kickstarter. We're going to bring it back in our own app. We got to walk away from you, Joel. You're insane. You're insane. Nobody's going to want to download another app and have another subscription to pay for. They got Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Peacock. They've got all these things that they're worried about making sure they have enough money for already, and you're going to do this again to the Misties? Are you crazy?
Mystery Science Theater 3000.
He was right! He's never been wrong! Joel has never been wrong. We should never question the high and mighty Joel Hodgson, because he knows what we love, he knows what we like, and he knows that if he's going to bring people into this show that we have cherished for some of us our entire lives, me included in that, he knows that they have to be good. Not just good, but great. They have to meet that standard. And he did that with Emily Marsh. He did that with Kelsey Ann Brady. He did that with Connor McGiffin, Yvonne Freeze, and the other cast that's already there, Jonah Ray, Baron Vaughn, Hampton Yount, Felicia Day, Patton Oswalt. These were the people. These were just fans of the show. And now they've come in and have taken it over and have made it into something that we didn't even expect. the show is so good, and the jokes are even better. Now, sadly, there are those detractors. I saw somebody on Facebook said, I turn that garbage off. I don't like to see this. I don't want to see this. This female crow? What's happening? Again, it goes back to my point with the Ghostbusters franchise. You find the right people to fill in the right roles, and you don't have to worry about it. Kelsey Ann Brady, she's okay. Crow has never been a girl. What does it matter? Who cares? Crow can be a girl. Crow and Servo and Gypsy, even though we've established that they basically were two males and a female there, they're robots, they're puppets. You can change their gender identity, it doesn't really matter. Just like it wouldn't matter if there was a transgender person as the captive on the Satellite of Love. If they can do the comedy that Mystery Science demands, why are you upset? That's the problem I'm having with these detractors. Here's one that really bugged me. Changing Crow's voice and introducing Emily was a bad idea. I'm not saying Kelsey is bad, but perhaps Emily should have gotten an episode or two in before changing Crow's voice. Joel has to keep in mind a lot of backers are just looking to make some new good old days. He should tread carefully when it comes to change. I feel bad about this opinion because Kelsey is family now, but it was hard to follow the voices. Emily and Crow's voice blended together, so it sounded more like Emily and Tom. Okay, I get it. It's hard to get used to. But see, that's the point of change. We live in a different era now, so much so that we remember back in the old days, Comedy Central days specifically, Mystery Science was a sausage fest. It was all men. It was nothing but men on the show. The one female character, Gypsy, was played by a man. Still by a man. And then they went to the Sci-Fi Channel era, and okay, so Trace Ballou left. We'll bring in Mary Jo Pehl to play Pearl Forrester. So they had one woman. And I mean, that was fine. That was great. But since Mystery Science has come back, we are in a new time where it's not as funny or appropriate for men to portray women. And so that's why they brought in Rebecca Hansen to play Gypsy, and why the new Mad Scientist would continue to be a woman, Felicia Day. And then when it came time to do the live tours, it's not easy to get Jonah Ray and all of them together to do a live tour. They've got other things to do as well. So what do? Well, you look for some new people. And why not switch up the formula? This is what irritates me about comments like that. It's just switching up the formula to try something new. If it didn't work, Joel would understand and he would pull the plug. But Emily is funny. Kelsey is funny. They know how to do the dialogue. They know how to do the comedy. They know how to plug themselves in, just like Jonah, Mike, Joel, Kevin, Trace, Bill, that whole group. They know how to do it. They follow along with the script. They're able to make themselves, I mean, I know what you're thinking, well, they just follow along the script, right? I mean, you just said it, Hot Toddy. Of course, they can follow along a script and do it. But it takes talent to make those jokes land. I remember cracking up to Emily when I saw her in Knoxville. Like I said, Kelsey wasn't in that show. It was the other guy. But I laughed at Kelsey. And yeah, I'll agree, it took some time to discern the voices, but it was clear that Kelsey was trying to do like a gruffled type voice to make Crow happen, and it worked. It was different, yes, but it works. Joel doesn't have to answer to anything. He especially doesn't have to answer to you. You're the one that decided to back this, and Joel can do what he wants at that point. He has the money, he can do it. And it's not like he's completely destroyed or dismantled what it is that we loved about this show. He's only added to it. He's added to it and created these new characters that I'm already in love with. I think they're great. But that's what I'm excited about, is knowing that there's like the A crew and the B crew. And this isn't in terms of appeal or their popularity or how good they are. It's the A crew, which is Jonah, Hampton as Crow, Baron as Servo, Rebecca as Gypsy, and the Mad Scientist. And you have the B crew, who's on the Simulator of Love, which is Emily, Kelsey as Crow, Connor as Servo, Yvonne as Gypsy, and the Mad Scientist. And I love that. I love it so much because Joel, again, this just goes back to my original point that Joel cares so much about the people that he hires. he takes such good care of them and pays attention to their talents that he leaves no man behind. When they did the live shows, even back in the 90s when they did the live shows, they just took the stars of the show and did a theater show. And even in the last few live tours, especially like the first one in 2017, again, they just brought the people from the show and did a tour. But then he was like, look, we're going to try to do a tour and a show. It's not going to be easy, so let's split them up and let's create 2 new groups. And then what did he do? He created another group that was equally as funny as the original group. Why are you complaining about having 2 sets of hilarious groups to do Mystery Science Theater 3000? That dude that made that comment made a good point. We're just looking for some good old days. I get good old days with Emily. I feel good old days with Kelsey as Crow, because I'm not zoned in on who's playing the characters. I'm zoned in on the content of the show, which was what most of these reviews that I'm going to do for this season is about, is the content of the shows, and I'll briefly touch on that. It was great. Again, the jokes were not coming out like a machine gun like it was in Netflix. They were fluent, they landed, they were funny, and I was cracking up. And they did a great job. And the sketches were funny. It's just, when I watch that, I feel like I'm watching Mystery Science again as a kid. So for me, it's not that I don't care who's doing it. I just know that the people who are doing it know what they're doing. And I love them for that. And then I love the content of the show. And that's really what we're looking for. That's the good old days, is bringing back what me and the other Misties out there would agree to be the greatest show in television history. And that's what we've done. We brought it back twice. How many people can say they've done that for their favorite show? So why are you complaining? You're getting exactly what you wanted. And you're getting it with 2 very talented groups of people. That's just my 2 cents. But anyway, I think the show is still going great. We just got through the 3rd episode. And when it comes to the first 3 episodes, there's an entire group of people that haven't even seen them yet, because again, the hard launch, the official launch of the Gizmoplex happens this Friday, May 6th. So if you weren't a backer and you want to check out the new episodes, or if you just don't care but you still would like to check out the new episodes or whatever, you can download Gizmoplex on May 6th. So make sure you mark that on your calendar if you're interested. And for those of us who have been a part of the soft launch, you know what to expect. We know what's going on, and we know that we're in good hands with the new crew of Mystery Science Theater 3000. So please take the advice of the closing line of the theme song. Just repeat to yourself, it's just a show. I should really just relax. Until we meet again, this is Hot Toddy and Jean-Luc Picard saying, live long and watch out for snakes.
An unmitigated disaster.